guys, I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. Nice to have you here. We have a super fun show for you tonight. Um, Serious but fun. A comedian out of Oregon. I've had Alex on the show before. He's a conservative comedian and a really funny guy. And he had a show planned, and the censor gods are his fellow comedians. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that and some other things that just don't make sense. And I think you guys will really have fun. It'll be a chance. I mean, there's some serious stuff here and some real bullshit, but I think it'll also give some time for us to laugh at some of the people that make our lives miserable. Them. So anyway, that's what we're going to do tonight. Our show is sponsored by Dr. Michael Ratland, Chris Stentels, Eugene, great dentist. I put up a video of some information on this new technique they use where they paint this product on your teeth, and it actually will keep them from getting cavities. And I've had a huge response. He did it for mine when I got a crown. He put this on there and it keeps them safe. I mean, your teeth will not get a cavity with this. And you can call Dr. Bratland's office and find out more about that. Our other sponsor, Native Law Group, good friend Alan Thayer. He's going to be on Thursday to talk to you about estate planning. That's what he does. And he also does business law. But why do you need estate planning? Well, if you live in Oregon, Alex, I'm going to give you some great information. Oregon is one of only 12 states in the country that tax you after you're dead. I'm not kidding. You die in Oregon and they have a death tax. It's the third highest death tax in the country. Death tax. So not only do they raise your taxes, but once you're dead, cold, and in the grave, they tax you again. Oregon, I guess you could say, is the greediest death tax state in the country. Oregon's most expensive state to die in. So you can't even die in Oregon and get a deal. Tina's going to be standing there over your grave going, oh, okay, here we go. Now we got him. Start taxing Dancer. So anyway, like I said, Alan will be on Thursday. We've got a full lineup. Tomorrow, I've got a guy named Brian Wright. Super cool guy, wrote me. Has quite the history. Should be a really interesting story. He had a long history with drugs and that kind of thing, and it's just a really good, kind of pulled it all out. And I think those kind of stories are really good for us to hear often. And then Alan's on Thursday. And also, Nicole DeGraff is a Springfield School Board member, and you know that's a big cluster screw. The Springfield School District is the superintendent quit, a board member quit, she's going to quit. There's this little trio we're going to talk about and what's going on in the district, and she's the only one I've been able to get that will talk publicly. So Nicole's going to be brave and speak to us about what's going on in the Springfield School District. So that's coming up on Thursday. I'll get to you guys' comments. I'll throw you up there I won't throw you up. It's like, I'll put your comments up as we get going. But let's bring on Alex Elkin. Welcome to the show, my man. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It's always good to be had. If you can hold on a minute, I got to pay a tax real quick for being here.
Did you pay your brick wall tax?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the dark ones are the most expensive. I don't know if we're allowed to say dark ones on this show, but yeah,
that could be. Well, they already called me a racist, so
I'm already a racist.
Yeah. So, Alex, tell the story. You called me, and I thought I got to get you on my show. This is so great.
The thing is, it's the same story, Rick. Because the last time I was on your show, it was over this same stuff, man. These people, they just don't stop. It's like you said. My biggest critics and the ones that want to censor me most are the ones who do what I do. That's the other comics. It's ridiculous. So this all started back in like 2021 I don't know if you celebrated COVID out there, but
in Montana, they did it for like 2 weeks. I was in Oregon during COVID, which is why I came to Montana. Smart. Because I couldn't take the stupidity of it any longer.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Now you can come in with your mask on, but when you sit down, then you can take it off because
No,
that's
so
because
did
COVID
little
doesn't work
people
at 4 feet and above.
yeah, so I don't know what we're supposed to call people that were used to be called dwarfs, but now I think they're little people. But if you were a little person, did you ever have to put a mask on? Because I kind of thought it was maybe that COVID didn't go, that was only up in this realm, like in
Well,
height. And
it
so
was
when you sat down
COVID-19.
at your table, everything was fine. And if I just walk like this to the bathroom, I could have not put on my mask, right? I mean, that makes so much sense. It's so fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was obviously Democrat math. It's COVID-19, not COVID 9.5. So of course it's not going to affect the littles. But listen, I'm not here to bash on midgets. I love them. I'm nuts over them. But the the uh the crazy thing is we were trying to put on a show celebrating the fact that we'd gone overseas to entertain our American troops. And we put the word in there, patriots. And boy, does that irk some people on the left. They do not like that P word, man. And they came in and they started throwing rocks and they chalked up the buildings and they accused me of being a Nazi and a racist and all these different buzzwords, whatever you can call it. And for years now, what is it, about 5 years now, that's been following me around like some stinking jacket I put on and took off years ago,
Really?
but the smell is still there. And so, the Oregon, the Registered Guard got behind it. There were other media, outlets, dead fish wrappers out there in Oregon that forwarded this story. And I got this branding of being some kind of Nazi or fascist or racist or whatever, because it's so easy to throw that out.
Right.
So zip it up, we zip up along to 2026, and I'm supposed to be doing a show at the Oak Knoll Winery on February
Out in
21st.
Hillsborough. Yeah.
That's this coming Saturday. And all of a sudden I get this text message from one of my comedy, I guess, friends. I don't know. They like to stir the pot. They like to light the fuse and then they run away.
Yeah.
And he sends me this message going, "Hey, did you see this? The host on the show, the guy that's getting paid the least, the guy that does the least amount of material and probably the weakest link in the whole chain, has decided based on his morals that he has to back out of this show." And he says, because they I guess gaslit him or something into a headliner being and I'm quoting him, "a known troll and MAGA comedian, Alex Elkin. You may have seen this sponsored post. I'm no longer doing the show, and I dropped out the second I found out that Elkin was involved. I want nothing to do with this chud. He literally defended Renee Good's murder the day it happened. Is reprehensible. He is reprehensible.
You're not only a Nazi, you're reprehensible.
I didn't know what a chud. I had to Google.
You should rip your sack and you should be wearing sackcloth.
Oh, I've been throwing dust on my head for days. I have been in grieving and mourning for these people. It's incredible. And then so because of this big virtue signal he throws on social media, because he has to step out because of morals. Now, keep in mind, these are the same people that are willing to trans kids, cut off boobs of prepubescent girls. They're willing to have drag shows for elementary school students. But I'm morally reprehensible.
Right.
I guess
They support the killing of unborn babies, but
Oh,
you're
yeah.
the guy. You're the guy. And then these are the same people who are standing against ICE, and ICE, and then they call you and me pedophile lovers because they make assumptions that Donald Trump they think is a pedophile, even though there's no convictions of that. But they're actually protecting pedophiles by standing against ICE and not letting ICE do its job, which is to send the fucking pedophiles back to their home country.
Rick, listen, I know it's your show, and I'm not gonna tell you how to run your show, Rick, but listen, they're not pedophiles, they are MAPs. They are MAPs, MAPs. Okay, they're minor attracted people. It's not their fault, Rick.
But that's only when it's their cause. It's not when it's Donald Trump. Then he's a full-blown pedophile.
Oh, yeah. These people sit here and call everybody a pedophile under the sun, but they'll sit and watch Family Guy and laugh at every joke about, touching diddling kids all the time. I mean,
so how has this affected the show that's coming up this weekend?
So I got to say, so you got this guy who drops out. He's the host, and he throws this virtue signal. And the feature, this is the person who does about 20 minutes in between, 20, 30 minutes before I go up. I've worked with her for years. I've been a guest in her home. I've played her piano, and I don't mean that metaphorically. Like I sat down at her piano and played it. And I mean, we've had a normal relationship. Nothing weird ever went on. And
I don't know those keys, the ivory
yeah, right,
keys.
Yeah. I only tickled the black ones. No, it's she cut me off. She unfriended me and she dropped out of the show. And it was surprising to me because we never had a falling out. She knows me personally. I wouldn't think that she would think that I'm a fascist or a Nazi, but she went ahead and backed out too. And it's crazy to me because what happens is now you're not just saying that you don't want to work with me. You're now outing the producer of the show. You're making the venue have to, pick up the pieces, and you're causing the producer now to have to try and scramble to fill these spots in the show. You're not doing anything beneficial to anyone. And that's the biggest problem with these people. They don't offer anything to society. These are people that are telling you and me that we need to get our lives together when either they're still living in their mom's basement or they've got a mattress on a Portland apartment floor and they're living the life.
We had said earlier, I want to, if this is the same guy who's 35 or 40 years old and mom's still dishing out his cornflakes and putting the right amount of milk on them for him.
Mom, I said I don't want the pepperoni Hot Pockets. God, that's these people. They got an open Facebook page. They're blocking everybody. It sounds like The View. Block, 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 block. And they got an open bag of Cheetos and an orange penis sitting there, and they're telling us what we can and can't say online. It's right. And now they're trying to do it in real life. And of course they want to try and get me canceled. So, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And they're trying to contact the venue. They're trying to tell the other comics that were supposed to work with me not to. They had to come to Trans Jesus meeting or something, whatever these people do. And they told them, look, we think that you're working with Alex Elkin. It's very problematic. So if you ever want to be on our open mic at the Chili's bathroom on Henderson, then you better do what we say and not work with it. That's what they do. They think they have power. The problem is they don't have any power. They only have the power that we give them, and we need to stop giving them power.
Somebody just caught your orange penis comment.
Oh, was that out of line? I heard it.
No, penis is fine. I mean, I'm pro mine. I don't care about anybody else's, but
there's anything wrong with orange penises. We love orange penises. They're beautiful. They're delicious. They're great, just like any other penis. We love the orange penis. It's great. We don't like Somali penises. We don't want the Somali penis. Those are bad, very bad, huge penises, but we don't like them. We like them over there.
So what's going on with the show this weekend then? Is it still happening?
That's what I got to say, man. I'm so proud of the booker here, Jeff Kafuri. He's the guy that purchased Harvey's after that went under because of COVID. But before COVID, he purchased Harvey's from And, Harvey's was a main staple comedy club in Oregon for years and years. It was my home club for years. I worked my way up from host to feature to headliner there. And I got to say, I got a lot of respect for him. He went out and now he's doing these pop-up shows. And that's why we're at the winery. But he specifically said, I won't let somebody tell me who I can and can't book. Good. And this cancel culture bullshit going on both sides needs to stop. It doesn't make anything better. It only makes division, and it only makes things worse. If you don't like my comedy, great, don't come. But what the hell do they think? You think I'm holding Klan meetings at my comedy shows? I have hundreds of videos on YouTube. I've got specials on Amazon Prime, on Tubi, on Xbox, on wherever you can stream it, you can find me. And you see these people laughing, and you see these people having a great time in my audience. Are you telling me that they're all fascists, Nazis too? Because they're having a great time.
Well, look what they did. You and I were talking when you called me about that. The comedian who was supposed to go to Minnesota had 6 shows and they canceled all of them. Not because the
Ben
people
Bankers.
Yeah. I mean, and he's cut. I mean, he's really, at least with him, he is very cutting edge. Like you think, okay, I could see where he gets pretty edgy.
Yeah.
But
he
still,
says
are comedians supposed to say what none of the rest of us can say? I mean, you really are like to me, a comedian, whether it's Joe Rogan or whomever, you are the people who can go the place even a journalist can't go. That's what Johnny Carson, people like that used to be able to do, where you can go to that place where it's the extreme, but it's making a point to call out big power, bad power, corporate power, greed, all that. You can do it and get away with it in a joke. Would you take comedy away and you've lost that? Then you have people, because remember during COVID, there were a lot of comedians that got canceled.
Oh yeah. Well, I was one of them. And Norman, yes, Democrats do laugh, but it's only when conservatives get shot in the neck. That's the sick thing, man. Part of this whole this, I guess, protest against me coming out to the 21st. One of the things that really troubled me, and what really pushed my hand to contact you, was one of the comments from somebody I've never met in my life. I don't know who they are, and they said somebody should introduce him to Charlie Kirk. And I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that somebody who doesn't know me, has no idea never met me, and they're going off of whatever these people are saying who have also never met me. You're talking about a father of 4, the only provider of a home and a family, married 23 years to the same woman. Not that I'm a saint, but what did I do to deserve getting shot in the neck and murdered for my jokes?
Right.
And that's the difference. I really feel like that's the difference. And it's like what Thomas Sowell, I'm paraphrasing Thomas Sowell, but he said, what you'll find is, of course, there's different opinions on either side, the right and the left, but the propensity for violence and ad hom attacks versus attacking ideas is primarily on the left.
Right.
It's always on the left.
Right. I agree 100%. And I think it's like when Charlie was killed, the things people said, and I didn't, and maybe I don't pay attention to those people, but I didn't hear when the two unfortunate people that were protesting ICE got shot in Minnesota. I didn't hear a bunch of people in the conservative side going, "Oh, good, they're dead." No. I heard a lot of people saying there are consequences for your actions, but it wasn't people. They weren't happy about it. They weren't elated. You know what I mean? It was looking for a reason, saying, "Well, it's unfortunate, but they shouldn't have gotten involved in that." You know what I mean? That kind of thing where I don't see the same thing on the left.
No. They would have been dancing in the streets. I mean, look what happened when Rush Limbaugh died. Look what happened when Charlie Kirk was murdered. That when conservatives die, Democrats or left people laugh. When the people on the left die, I mean, we just lost Reverend Jesse Jackson. Personally, I wasn't a fan. I didn't really think he was, all that great for, bringing America together. But I'm not going to post that in any. I'm going to say rest in peace. Right. God bless you. I hope you're with the angels, because what else are we going to say? Why would we be inhuman like that? But that's the difference, man. These people are animals, absolute animals. And it's interesting you bring up the Good, Miss Good, because that's just what he said. He accused me of praising her death, and that's nowhere near what I said. To paraphrase what I said, and it was a big long post, I felt for her children, her poor kids who are never going to understand why some pedo illegal immigrant rapist with the low IQ of 60 was being protected by their mom to the point where she had to lose her life over it. Right. And why was their stepmom, or whatever this woman was who was her wife, filming it for TikTok likes? This is disgusting behavior. She should have been home making snacks for her children, because a woman, her place is not in the home, but a woman's priority should be the home. And in fact, a man's priority should be the home too. It's not a sexist statement to make. Your priority should be home. Where you lay your head at night and where you raise your children, that should be your priority first and foremost.
That people got to this point. I was listening to a podcast today on a gentleman talking about how he thinks it's propaganda can be pushed so far that look what happened with Hitler. I mean, the real Nazis. And look what those people did. They weren't doing what conservatives are doing. Hitler was doing what Joe Biden was doing, forcing people to get a vaccine, forcing people to, using the law to try to get his opponents, putting Trump people in jail because of they disagreed with him. And Trump hasn't put anybody in jail who disagreed with him. And they're all going, "Oh, he's a tyrannical leader." No, Kate Brown, Tina Kotek, and Joe Biden are tyrannical leaders. Nancy Pelosi, tyrannical leaders. these people, and that they don't see it. He says, and the sad thing is Miss Good and then the Alex, both of them die for a cause that now look, Minnesota, the state and the counties and cities are working with ICE and doing what they wanted him to do in the first place. So I had a friend that wrote me something today and said, look at all the money that was spent. Yeah, that a lot of wasted money because they wouldn't work with them.
Right.
And a lot of wasted life that didn't have to be there because we're there now. And they could have done this in the first place. This is what other red states are doing automatically. And it's the blue states that are standing up and fighting this stuff. And for what?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is it's like people reference 1984 so much because we're really kind of living in it. We have this wormhole of information that changes, day to day. We've always been at war with Eurasia. There's never been a point when we weren't at war with Eurasia until we're not at war with Eurasia. Democrats the left supported ICE all through Clinton, all through Obama, all through Biden. But as soon as you put Orange Man's fingerprints on it, it's, oh my God, where's my pearls? I need to clutch something. What are you new? These laws have been on the books since day one. Stupid.
Yeah.
You're just mad. Well, here's what they don't want to admit: you just hate him, and that's the bottom line. You don't have any rational reason for it. You were told to hate him, and now you're so caught up in it. How are you going to say that you changed your mind? That would be embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, it's like COVID. I think how do you rationalize that you called the police on your neighbors because there were too many cars in their driveway during COVID? I mean, you did that? That's exactly what they did in Germany.
Right.
They turned in their neighbors, and some of you did that same thing, and you walked up to people and you were glad. Remember how happy they were when nurses were fired, when police were fired, when veterans, people that were serving in the military were fired for not wearing a mask and not wanting to get a vaccine. And they said they shouldn't be there. And they wanted them to lose their livelihood. And
these are the same people.
How do you go back and say that's, I did that,
Yeah, right. And these are the same people who are telling are now the latest outrage is the SAVE Act, and you shouldn't have to show ID to vote. And these are the same people that wanted me to show a card to get into a Carl's Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to have a card that showed I was vaccinated.
Right.
And yet
I had to show you need to see your papers. And
I just had a fake one.
I gotta disagree, Cindy. She said no one was forced to take a vaccine. Folks were forced to make a choice, and some of them lost their minds. Now, okay, that's a valid statement, but a choice of either you lose everything,
right,
or you take this vaccine. What kind of a choice is that? That's life or death, literally, for some families.
And I know so many grandparents that their kids were so paranoid, they wouldn't let them see the grandkids unless they got a vaccine. I think I wouldn't do it anyway. But Brandon on here says he's a barber in Almsville. I think that's right. I hope I'm right. But he said he had the cops calling because he had people in his shop during the COVID time. I had my barber come to my house. My barber just came to my house and went in my bathroom, and I've got a 300-pound dude in my bathroom saying, "Fuck yes," and cutting my hair. My wife's going, "Man, you guys have dirty mouths."
Here's Brandon's here's his first problem. He wasn't Speaker of the House. I mean, that's all you got to do. Then you can go and make an appointment during COVID in San Francisco and get your hair done. Don't you remember when Pelosi did that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
so back to the gigs on, and did you guys get other people to fill in for these?
Yeah, so we got Boris Nelson out of Twin Falls to come out to host. I don't know if we have a feature yet, and frankly, I don't really care. We don't really need one. If I can do 90 minutes, and it could be just on these little soy boys in Portland that are real strong online, but they'd never say any of this to my face, No. They wouldn't have the balls to say it to my face, but they're going to sit there and be keyboard warriors and tell everybody else what they can and can't do.
So will you make some of this story part of your material?
Oh, of course. You got to talk about it. You got to address it. What I don't want to do is address it early, and I don't want the venue to look bad. I don't want the venue to get phone calls. I don't want the producer to be caught up in any of this. But afterwards and during the show, oh yeah, it's the gloves are off. These punks, they messed with a can of worms that, I mean, frankly, I can't imagine not saying anything
Well,
about.
don't you feel like, Alex, to me, this is how I feel about my job and what I do, is this is my duty. This is what when you see something when stuff like this is so stupid, and people don't have to agree with you. Here's the thing I wanted to bring up with you. This is what was interesting to me. Do you notice that when, like, people that are more conservative, we make our point, and I mean, some of them call names, but not like they do. I mean,
Mm.
honestly, but I don't ever care. I'm not trying to convince people. I'm saying this is what I think is true, and here's what I think is right. And yet, but my left leaning audience, a number of them just come after me, and they have to keep going until they convince you that you're wrong. And it's like, why? What is that? What is that drive that you won't feel good until you convince me that I'm wrong and you're right? Yet I don't care if I don't care if you believe me, it doesn't matter. This is what I believe. I'm not changing my mind. I do change ideas sometimes. Sometimes I get pissed at Trump because he does something stupid. Then they'll go,
Sure.
"Oh, so you don't like him anymore?" No, I
No.
don't like his last decision. And they're so excited because it's like, I think it's because misery loves company. And they feel like if they don't get you, and on your, it's like they have to have people on their team. But I felt that about the extreme Democrat Party for a long time.
Right. It is extreme. That is the word for it, and misery does love company. And I think that they're so caught up in their own muck and mire that they just can't admit it. What Mark Twain say, that it's easier to tell a person it's easier to fool a person than to convince them they've been fooled, because we're egomaniacal beings. And when we find out that, oh, there's new information and we have to change our mind, it's hard to do. We've already
Right.
been ingrained in these beliefs and these systems. I think the difference between the right and the left is the right generally has a foundation when it comes to where they base their morals from. Usually it's biblical. It's,
Right.
a Christian foundation. We have this idea that, all right, the 10 Commandments, what can you say about the 10 Commandments that's not true? What of the biblical teachings by Jesus about your life could literally do you harm? There's really nothing there. And when you have that kind of moral foundation, or any kind of moral foundation to at least start from and look at, then you can determine right and wrong. The difference is when you have a group of people who do not have any kind of foundation like that, everything they do is morally right to them.
Right.
They scream, no one is above the law. Well, I figured that out. When you don't put any kind of salt or any kind of stock or weight into the law, when you think a peaceful protest is burning down a federal building, then you don't have any respect for the law. So who could be above what's not there? You
Right.
don't have any, it's not real. So nobody's above it. That's what, this is the kind of word games and pretzel logic that they use in order to play, to try and just drive us nuts. And it's worse than just trying to convince us that we're wrong. They have to belittle us. They have to make sure
Yeah.
that we know that we are lesser than. And what they do is they other us. They tell us, oh, well, I'm just going to convince, well, that person's a MAGA Trumper, or that person's a troll. That
Right.
person's a fascist. That person's a Nazi. And what bothers me is, are they so simple-minded that they can't literally understand that we're multifaceted people?
Yeah.
Are they so simple-minded that they have to categorize us in little boxes so that they can understand us? And then secondly, here's the scariest part to me, is when you look at somebody who can watch that Renee Good video, for example, and literally see it from all angles, and watch that policeman get hit with her car, and they can sit there and stare at you and tell you that that didn't happen. Now we're living in alternate realities.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing things that, I mean, I saw it, you saw it, they didn't. This is crazy to me. Now you're insane and now you're dangerous. Please go away. And that's where we have the real division. It's scary.
Yeah, I'm also intrigued by all the biblical scholars who never probably cracked a Bible, and they come on and it's like, Rick Dancer, you're not a Christian because you don't believe in taking care of the poor, and I'm like, no, I believe in taking care of the poor. I believe that we in America should be taking care of our poor, which we're not, and we're putting up illegals from other countries in five-star hotels and letting our veterans sit on the streets of New York City and suffer and die and be on drugs. I think we have priorities of who's poor. Those aren't our poor. And
No,
we
it's
brought
not.
them in and we're giving them more services than we give a lot of Americans. And then they say that Jesus would be okay with that. I don't think Jesus would. They know a different Jesus than I do. I don't think Jesus
Jesus,
would be
you
okay
know,
with
from
that.
the Jesus I know and have read about, he's probably one of the most intolerant people I've ever seen in the world, because he didn't accept your sin. You know, he would accept you, but he would tell you, go and sin no more. You know, stop doing what you're doing. I'm not accepting of this behavior. He wouldn't, you know, that's not his point. It's not to accept the behavior, it's to accept the person. We can accept the person, but we don't have to accept this behavior. And this behavior is, well, it's crazy. It's maniacal and evil. I mean, and the question to the person telling you that you're not feeding the poor, you're not doing, my question, my retarded brother in Christ, what would you have me do?
Right.
You know,
And,
what, and if it's so
what are
heavy
you?
on
I
your,
always. What are
if
you
it's so
doing?
heavy on your heart, why aren't you doing something about it?
Right. And then because they forgot that judge not lest you be judged one. Oh yeah, that's in that same book. Yeah.
I got enough trouble trying to pull this plank out of my own eye to be worrying about specks in my brothers.
I
And
like what High Elder Warlock's saying here. What a name we've got, buddy. Marxist regimes always try to change the definition to serve themselves.
absolutely, they move them goalposts, baby. Do you remember a couple of years ago we changed we changed definitions all over the place, just right in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
Trying to remember the words. You could look them up, but they'd be different.
Well, I remember I have it at home and it says Rick Dancer TV and it says soapbox. It's professionally made. And I used to take it and put it down. And I did a soapbox one time on intolerance, because to me, the people who are the most intolerant are the ones who are preaching tolerance. And you know what I mean? It's like and plus, I don't want to be tolerant of anybody. If you look
No.
up tolerant, it means I'll put up with you. It's like,
And
no, I want to be engaged with you, not putting up with you. And so, and a lot of things, it's like, here, I'm going to step on a limb here, but this one's funny too. Not funny. It's actually very sick. But the same people who, we have that law, is it the face law that they had for the church that Don Lemon went in? I'm getting these save and face. I think it's
right.
but
Yeah.
I think what it was developed, this law was actually developed to keep Christians and people from letting people go into abortion clinics.
Mhm.
So the Republicans wouldn't sign it unless they put in also religious places like synagogues, mosques, and Christian churches. So the conservative people their church seems to be the church in Christ and what's going on, or Muhammad or whatever like this. And the Democrats, what they're trying to save is the ability to abort babies. And that just does that say it all?
But then again, you get back to the point where they just won't see it,
No.
There are none so blind as those who cannot see. I mean, they just, it's either willful ignorance or it's just open blindness. Because I don't want to wish that my brothers and sisters that live in America with me would literally vote for that or cheer for that. But I think, the numbers aren't lying, and it's getting scary. I mean, it's a slippery slope, and that's just what tolerance was. Tolerance. We were talking about tolerance, and way before today. We're so far past tolerance now, because tolerance begat acceptance, and acceptance begat celebration, and celebration has now begat endorsement, to where you can't just tolerate somebody and their lifestyle. You need to literally endorse it. You need to say that you are an ally or you are a proponent of it. Otherwise, you'll just be labeled a fascist, racist, Nazi, bigot, whatever you want to call me, because I don't think that we should be transing the kids. I don't think we should be giving puberty blockers to minors, and don't tell my children that they can put on a dress and suddenly become a girl. That's just not how that works.
Right. That's the crazy thing is if I went in and said, I'm a Christian, I believe Jesus died for my sins, he's the only way to heaven, and blah, blah, blah. And you have to accept that. You have to accept that, or I'm going to call you names. None of them would accept. I mean, someone who's not believing that on the left. I mean, because there's a lot of Christians on the left too. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's the same thing. is you don't get to I'm not trying to make you believe what I believe. So don't tell me I have to accept that being trans is a normal condition, and that I have to accept it. And not only accept it, I have to celebrate it. I'm not going to celebrate it. I
They
think
gave him a
it's
whole
something.
month.
No, yeah. And they took June from me. It's my birthday month.
Yeah, it's my wife's birthday month. I know she hates that. Yeah.
You just can't be not racist. You must be anti-racist. Exactly, Sean. Yeah, you can't say I'm not racist. You have to be I'm against racist. Well, I am against racist, and I'm against white racism too.
Sure.
Oh, they don't like that.
Well,
They sure don't. That's because that's been white privilege. And you know what all my black friends tell me? White people are the only ones that call people white privilege, and they don't even know what the fuck it is.
No. I must have lost my card because my rent is still due on the 1st of the month.
Right. Well, have you seen those memes going out? I think it's kind of funny. Oh man, it's about identification. Oh man, I figured out that I was what was it? Are they saying racially? Yeah, they treated me like a racist because I went to the store and bought beer, and I had to show my ID. I went to do something else, and I had to show my ID. I mean, that's the craziest. Remember when Blockbuster was around? You had to show ID to rent a stupid movie, and they don't think it's important enough to vote that you should have to show. I live in Montana. We have to show ID when we vote.
Here's one step further. The people that voted on the SAVE Act had to show ID to vote on the SAVE Act. I mean, that's the whole craziness about the government, the Fed, everything, these uppity ups and muckety mucks, these people above us, these are people that, that they'll rack up trillions of dollars around the world in American debt. And they're the ones that are giving us a credit score.
Yeah.
What? This is wild.
John,
hypocrisy.
John brings up, says, same one saying assault ICE now. So yeah, ICE isn't supposed to assault anybody, but it's okay to threaten and do death threats and spray them with mace and throw bottles of ice water at them, trying to hurt them. So that's okay. But when it goes the other direction, it's not okay.
Well, that's just it. We've had, with Biden in office, we had 4 years of that being okay.
Right.
You remember Kate Brown would tell the mayor of Portland at the time to tell the chief of police to tell him to stand down, don't engage. We don't want to escalate any further. Let the monkeys throw their poop, and just observe. And we had this mentality for 4 years of the insane people are running the asylum. They're able to just get away with anything. I don't know if you've raised children, but children need discipline. And if you don't discipline them early and let them know this is not okay behavior, they're going to go out and do not okay behavior. Well, we had 4 years of these idiots going out there in the streets, burning down buildings and screaming at cops and doing whatever they wanted. And there was no retaliation. And now they're starting to see repercussions for their actions. And they're like, wait a minute. All I did was stick my hand in the hornet's nest and they started stinging me. What the hell?
Well, it's kind of like January 6th. I don't support what happened, the bad things that happened with January 6th. But if anybody does their research, you'll figure out that it's not what they say it is. But here's my point is Black Lives Matter did way more destruction, more deaths, more public and private property destruction than the January 6th ever did. And they just lose their shit over January 6th, but they can just bypass and ignore anything that happened that BLM did. And then BLM, what'd she do though? They ran off with all the money that people gave them. So it's like you're supporting criminal activity, and yet January 6th is the worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
And Pelosi knew about it, and she could have stopped it. And it's like, but they don't want to hear that. And all they do is, it's like bring up the same things over. I just want to scream sometimes. I
know, but you'd be screaming at a brick wall.
Yeah.
Cognitive dissonance.
It's like you say, I believe that chairs are great. Oh, chairs are great. Well, that's because you're a rapist and a pedophile, and you celebrate Hitler.
So basically what you're saying is you hate stools. Do better, fascist.
I'm a 66-year-old man. I am pro stool.
Absolutely. This segment of the program has been brought to you by Activia.
Sponsored by Constipation Relief. Yeah, so nothing like a good stool every morning. Yeah, there you go.
Take a sample.
So, Alex, how do people find you, the show, and more information about this?
You can Google the Oak Knoll Winery. That's OAKKNOLL Winery. It's in Hillsboro, Oregon. It's going to be happening at 6 p.m. on February 21st. That's this coming Saturday night. It's going to be a great time. We're not going to let these punks stand in our way. We're not going to let them come out with their little signs and get angry and pout about the fact that I'm telling jokes that they don't like. Come out and see the show for yourself and see what kind of comedy I bring to the table. Don't listen to these thugs. They're just angry little fascists that mommy and daddy cooked their Pop-Tarts wrong, and they're just mad about it, But I'd say don't let them win, man. This is still America. We still have the freedom of speech. Yeah, they can kick and cry all they want, but what they can't do is sit there and slander and libel people like you and me, Rick, who are just trying to make a living. When they start calling for my death, when they start talking about the rape of my children, when they start driving by my home, when they start sending me personal death threats and messages, that's where I draw the line, man. That now it's personal, and if I have to defend myself, I certainly will. But that's the difference here. I have never ever pulled back from a show because I know somebody on the left was on it.
I'll leave you with this. My favorite COVID comment to me was because I was very big on this is stupid and I'm not doing this anymore and that kind of thing, was a woman who wrote me and told me how lacking in compassion I was, as she then finished the comment with, she hopes that me, my wife, and my children all got COVID and died. In the same sentence, that I'm not compassionate, and yet she hopes that my family dies.
I got a message from a lady when I did a COVID joke. She said, if you don't believe in masks, I hope you get COVID and I hope your dick dies. Now, I had some follow-up questions. I didn't know that was, I would have paid more attention if Dr. Fauci had ticked that one off the list. We of course know this could lead to myocarditis, lung damage, and dick death. I would have put down the Sudoku for a minute. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, I was with several men who had COVID and got over it, and 6 months later, they still couldn't get it up. So I suggested, well, maybe you should try leaving your mask on.
It wasn't COVID. It was her ugly face.
Well, those nose rings and the shaved half a head on the other side is crimson or blue and armpit hair. I'm out. There's a dick in there somewhere.
Alex, sick. Yeah. Oh, that little thing.
Just another thumb, darling. Hey, September 21st, Oak Knoll Winery. Please come out, support live comedy. It's not conservative. It's not liberal comedy. It's comedy. Come support it. Do something good for your community and come out and get a ticket.
All right, my man. Alex, thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I love you, buddy.
See you, buddy.
Stand strong.
Oh, there you go, guys. Yeah. Help support Alex and other people who are, that's what comedy is supposed to be. That's the cutting edge. That's where we get to look at it and laugh a little, but also go, God, there's something there. That's what it's always been about. And I think during COVID, I loved hearing Joe Rogan talk about that is, if you stifle and censor the comics, we're screwed. We are literally screwed. So anyway, I wanted him to tell his story, and I thought that was kind of fun. That's kind of a fun way to start the night. Tomorrow, a young man named Brian Wright coming on, has a very inspirational story about being a drug addict and how he got out of that. And then on Thursday, we have Alan Thayer, sponsor of our shows. He is going to talk about estate planning and Oregon's death tax and why people in Oregon really need to get in there and figure that out. And also I have Nicole DeGraff from the Springfield School Board. And you guys know all the crap that's going on over there, the brouhaha. We got a craziness going on, and she's willing to talk about as much of it as we can. So we're going to ask some questions and see what she has to say. If you guys, thank you. I see some of you got like this show. That's good. I knew you would, because he's a funny guy. But share this on your page so other people see it. And I also put up we have a website if you're interested in supporting what we do. This is my grifting moment, I guess. You can go on there. It's $12 a month, and it has a different content, older stories that we put on there, some stuff like that. It's really to support what we're doing here at Get Real with Rick Dancer. Otherwise, just share this stuff on your page. We'll be back tomorrow night. Talk to your friends about it. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We have our YouTube channel. Everything goes on YouTube, so you'll see it there too, as well. All right, I'm going to go home, and I will be back tomorrow with more. So we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.